This conversation is not really about Payton Pritchard. It is about how the basketball world is still trying to define Caitlin Clark. When Reggie Miller compared Clark to Pritchard, the reaction was immediate because it did not match the scale of Clark's impact. She is not just a good player in her league. She is a transformational figure in women's basketball. So when Carmelo Anthony offered a more detailed and honest evaluation, it shifted the discussion towards something more meaningful. Anthony did not dismiss the comparison completely. Instead, he reframed it. He said Clark has elements of Stephen Curry, Tyrese Haliburton, and Luka Doncic. That tells us how elite basketball thinkers see her. They are not focusing on one skill. They are looking at her ability to manipulate defenses, control pace, and create advantages. This matters because comparisons shape perception. In modern sports, perception influences marketing, contracts, media attention, and even how opponents prepare. Clark is no longer just a rookie star. She is becoming a blueprint for the next generation of guards. The real question is not who she resembles. It is what type of player she is redefining. Carmelo Anthony's opinion matters because he understands what elite offensive control looks like. Throughout his career, Anthony faced some of the most sophisticated defenses in the NBA. He saw firsthand how players like Stephen Curry and Luka Doncic changed the geometry of the court. So when he talks about Clark manipulating angles and reading defenses, that is not casual praise. It reflects a deeper recognition of high-level decision-making. Clark's greatest strength is not just shooting, it is control. She dictates tempo, stretches defenses beyond their comfort zones, and forces opponents to adjust their schemes. This is why the Curry comparison only captures part of the picture. Curry revolutionized spacing with off-ball movement, but Clark operates more with the ball in her hands. She is closer to a primary creator. The Luka comparison is especially important. Doncic dominates games through patience, vision, and timing rather than elite athleticism. Clark shows similar traits. She reads help defenders, anticipates rotations, and finds passing windows before they fully develop. That level of processing is rare. This is also why some analysts see elements of Trae Young in her game. She combines deep shooting range with advanced playmaking. But unlike Young, Clark is still evolving physically and strategically. Her game is expanding every season. These comparisons are not just theoretical. They are directly shaping expectations for the Indiana Fever. Since drafting Caitlin Clark first overall in 2024, the Fever have moved from a rebuilding team to a franchise with national relevance. Every decision around roster construction, coaching, and long-term strategy now revolves around maximizing her strengths. This is similar to how NBA teams build around primary creators. The goal is spacing, versatility, and decision-making support. Clark's ability to control the game means the Fever must surround her with players who can finish, defend, and play without the ball. That is why her partnership with players like Aaliyah Boston is so important. A dominant interior presence creates balance, allowing Clark to manipulate defenses both inside and outside. It mirrors the modern NBA formula of pairing elite guards with strong interior anchors. At the same time, these comparisons raise pressure. When you are mentioned alongside Curry, Luka, or Haliburton, expectations shift from promise to results. Fans, media, and opponents begin judging performance at a higher level. That can accelerate growth, but it also creates scrutiny. For the WNBA, this is a turning point. The league is moving toward a star-driven model similar to the NBA. Clark is at the center of that transition. She is attracting new audiences, increasing viewership, and forcing teams to think strategically about identity and style of play. The long-term impact of these comparisons goes beyond Caitlin Clark's career. It could reshape how guards are developed across women's basketball. For years, player development in the women's game emphasized structure, efficiency, and traditional roles. Clark represents a shift toward creativity, spacing, and offensive freedom. Young players are now being encouraged to shoot from deeper range, make advanced reads, and play with greater tempo. This is similar to the transformation the NBA experienced after the rise of Stephen Curry. What Carmelo Anthony highlighted is that Clark is not limited to one style. She combines shooting, playmaking, and court vision in a way that forces defenses to constantly adjust. This versatility is becoming the new standard. Future prospects will be evaluated not only on scoring or athleticism, but also on decision-making and offensive control. The most important takeaway is that Clark is still early in her professional journey. As her physical strength, experience, and defensive awareness improve, her impact could expand even further. That is why the comparison debate is still evolving. She is not a finished product. If she continues on this path, Clark could become the defining guard of her generation. And more importantly, she could influence how the next wave of players approaches the game.